we have a Montgomery Awards rototiller. It is something I got last year around the fall time, probably late fall, probably closer to like October. It's been sitting out in the side for a while now, because, well, not many people need to rototill their gardens in the middle of winter. So I figured today would be a good time to kind of go over it, make sure everything's good to go. A couple things I noticed is when I got it, it did run. However, I ran out of fuel, so that's good. I noticed though the reason why I ran out of fuel so quickly, because I only let it run for like maybe 5 minutes and there was a good half a tank, was the side over here. Let me bring you back so you can take a look at it a little better. That little So first thing we're going to do is take off the air filter. It's just a flathead screw. That's actually pretty important to have in there because it's a rototiller. Let's see what the air filter looks like. Oh, brand new. That's nice. Next, let's take off this cable. Just going to leave that little bracket on the exhaust for now. See if it works. Oh, it does. Very good. Just has to be looped up probably. So, here's my thing with this. Here's another one. It's exactly the same thing as the other one. So how it ends up working is just like the older style classic lawnmower engines. It sucks up fuel from here, which has a little screen. It goes up, comes down, recirculates in this little bowl that's actually in the tank. That effectively is your float bowl, which that is dipped into. That float bowl then fills up continuously with fuel. There's a little hole on the side where when it starts to overflow, it goes back into the tank. So there's always fuel moving. The part that makes that happen is this. And so there's always going to be fuel rolling around through here. Pumps it in. I forget where. There's usually a port that's somewhere around there that you can kind of see it, but I think it's right there. If you can see that. No, probably not, but it's like right next to the actual intake. I bought this a long time ago in hopes to use it for a different application. I don't think I'm going to be doing that anymore because I just don't want to be honest. I like this one, so I'll go over it. I got a 5 horsepower Briggs motor. I was going to kind of modify and turn into like a mini bike or go-kart motor. I forget what it's called. It's a Raptor engine. I don't know, fully modify it. But then I decided not to. I decided just to do something a little easier. So I got this one because it doesn't have the little twirls. Those are not very good. But I soon discovered the engine block was probably just trash, so I didn't want to do it anymore. So this has been sitting there for a couple months now. So I think as long as it's applicable, I'm just going to use this. So let's see here. And another thing I don't like about this is this. These right here, how you tension it for the throttle, they seem to always over throttle. Looking at, because it connects up here, and it's just a giant pain. I kind of just want to remove all that. Put the throttle cable right there, take that little bracket off so it's not riding in the exhaust, and just have it kind of running around. Assuming it's long enough. Might be tight. Well, even then, it does have that little bracket, so it shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, maybe I'll just leave it the way it is. But okay, so first things first, we need a 7/16 and an impact. So we're going to take off the exhaust first. The exhaust is almost always a 7/16. Oh, there's only one bolt too. That's not good. Get the strip out. Oh yeah, they broke it off in there. And it is the one where you can screw it in. Sometimes with Briggs and Tecumsehs, I've noticed, not so much Hondas, you can actually put a like a screw-in exhaust on it. I don't know if I have one of those. I do. Nah, I'll just put that one back on. I might just have to take that out, drill it. Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So, these are a little interesting. There's 5 screws here. I'm going to take them out. Not 5. I think there's 3 on this one. First one, I'll take out. Then the pump comes off. This will not drop the tank. It's only going to take the carburetor off. The unfortunate part about this is the carburetor, how it attaches to the engine. It's really easy to take this bolt off, but there's another bolt down here. It's a 3/8. That's very difficult. It's too narrow to have a ratcheting, ratchet or one of those ratcheting sockets. Not sockets, wrenches. So you basically just have to take it off manually. That can be a giant pain. Oh yeah, this carburetor is just beat. So the reason why I want to replace this is when that starts leaking from there, it means it's torqued. And I'm going to take a look at it. Maybe the gasket's ripped too, but 99% of the time it's because the carburetor is actually just warped. And you can fix it, it's just very, very difficult. It's just easier to ensure that you're never going to have a problem by replacing it. That carburetor was only like $12. While you probably are not selling these, I'm going to sell this one. And I don't want to sell it to someone who then messages me back, calls me back, whatever, says it's not running, it's leaking, what's going on. And then, naturally, that's never good. So, $12 insurance policy for myself. So, this is going to take a little time to take off the other one. Go ahead and put you on pause. You don't need to see me mess with that. Okay, finally. I had to take this little bolt out for this little tensioner thing. Okay, now that we have that off, there's a linkage from the throttle, or the governor, so we need to take this piece off to kind of make it easier. There we go. Take that off. Now, it should just allow us to put that off to the side. That will fall. This should have nothing else holding it on. And there we have it. Okay, so now we need to make sure this is... No. Well, it doesn't help it's backwards. Yeah. I mean, the gaskets are different, but I do believe the holes might line up. Let's find out. That'd be annoying if it doesn't. Oh no. It does not. Okay. Well, I guess my original hope and dream of just putting a new carburetor on there is not going to work. I mean, I could order another one. Yeah. Definitely ran out of gas. The little cavity. This is the cavity I was talking about right there. Let's see what we have for the carburetor. Definitely stuck on there. There we go. The other thing is maybe they just put it on, it was bad. Doesn't look horrible. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to blow through all these. There's really not much of anything with these. That's the little spring for the pump. I'm going to put a new diaphragm in here. So it does look like it's a little worn. Maybe just a bad diaphragm this entire time. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and put that back on. I'm just going to take it off here, put it back on, screw it back on. Probably blow all this stuff out. Oh, is there something going to fall? No, okay. This is the main. I might take that out and just kind of blow in there, or take a look at it. It's a 1/2 inch. Okay, be right back. Okay, so I decided to bring it back just in case. I just took this off 1/2 inch, and there's a brass jet. It's not like a normal jet, at least not that I've shown so far. It's actually flat. There we go. Inside there, it's the little holes. But there it is. So how it works is when it's in there, the little needle on the top goes inside and just kind of adjusts the amount of fuel that goes in and out. Okay, so I just want to show that. This actually looks pretty clean. I don't see any potential problems here with the exception of what I'm putting on there with my dirty hands. So I'm going to go ahead and just wash that off and be right back. Okay, so I have the carburetor on. Put the 3 bolts back on, or back in. Blew out the little cavity. Now, I want to bring you back for a final part of it is this. This little bar right here has some threads on the top, and basically it moves the spring up and down. I want to have it rev lower rather than higher, because you can always, a full throttle, keep twisting out till it gets to the right RPM. But what you don't want is to be way over torqued and causing the governor to potentially explode and cause damage to the engine. So it's always better to leave it to run too slow and then increase the RPMs rather than have it run too fast and then lower the RPMs. Another thing I want to show is when you put this second bolt back in here, take that off, don't have it on. Don't tighten this one, but you want to tighten this one first because that one's easy enough to tighten just to save yourself a lot of heartache. Okay, I'll go ahead and put that back on, loose ends, and be right back. Okay, so this is a not so fun part. Depending on how it goes, I might just run to the hardware store and get one of those little exhausts to come out. But let's see how it goes. I want to remove that broken bolt. It's been in there for a long time. So far what I did is I took a punch, tapped this punch in a hole, or punched a little notch in the center of it. Right now I have an 1/8 inch drill bit. I just want to start drilling it out. It doesn't want to take it, of course, because it's broken. If I didn't mention it before, this is a very time-intensive process. Don't press too hard, you could break the bit. Now that I have a satisfactory hole started, I take out the chunk of metal that somehow got lodged in my finger. Let's put a bit that's a little larger. That's why the bit's broken. Well, let's take a different one. Let's try this one. Yeah, we're definitely getting in there. It's going to take its sweet time, however. Man, I'm kind of tempted to hammer drill. Probably break the bit, though. Man, that's annoying sounding. So I have absolutely, well, probably zero hope this will work. But let's see if I can find my easy outs. This is an easy out. I don't think it's going to work, but you never know until you try. Really don't want to have to drill out the whole thing. That's literally, it would take me less time to drive 4 miles down the road, buy an $8 muffler, maybe a $6 throttle cable, or in fact I probably even have one that's longer. Yeah, I probably have one that's longer. And not worry about this nonsense. This one we don't want to hammer. Okay, now take the other side, and this one, these you go in reverse. Let's get rid of that. So far, nothing. Nah. That's going to be useless. I'm going to try this one just in case. Oh, that's the wrong side. It's going to take too long, the metal's too hard, and it's been baked, so it's probably been hardened anyway. So, let's see. Do I even need another throttle cable? Will it even fit? And technically, that's what I wanted to do from the very beginning. So, what else? Pull this all the way out. So that's all the way. All the way, I'm assuming. I'm not liking any of this at all. Like, basically any of it. This whole throttle's weird. Unless something on the bottom. Let me look at the plate on the bottom and see what we have here. Okay, so about 30 minutes later, I decided to do a couple things. One, for $9.99, new muffler. Hopefully that's good. There we are. So that just fits right there, and we'll screw it into place. These mufflers are good for anything around 4 to 8 horsepower, I think, or 4 to 10. So now, that's garbage. I also removed this. I connected the throttle directly to the gutter down there, so it would actually be the one putting tension on the spring instead of the rod. So that's how they usually are. I'm not really sure why this one's any different. I'm not really a fan of this bar. It's just not as good in my opinion. Something I forgot to do, well, before this, so I'm going to take this off. The reason why is this tank is completely empty. When that happens, well, looks like we also don't need that anymore. When that happens, that little reservoir has to fill up before it even draws fuel. So if that doesn't fill up, you're going to be pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling for a very, very long time. And I don't know about you, but I don't really want to have to do that. So I'm not. Let's just pull that all the way up. There we go. So what I'm going to do is kind of cheat. I'm going to take a little, maybe gasoline, maybe carb spray, something, spray it down here with the choke off. This is choke on, choke off. And then that's going to suck it in there. Hopefully by that point the engine will have gone around enough to pump enough fuel into the little reservoir, so I don't have to do that again. That can take a couple attempts. So if it takes 2 or 3, that's fine. It's just better than pulling it like 50 times, at least in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead, get that filled up with some fuel, probably up to about here, and get it started. Something I am going to do, just because it's good practice, this is the pull spring. Put a little oil in there. It's been a while, probably is a little dry. Make sure that's okay. That's just some Marvel Mystery Oil. And let's see here. Probably take that off and look, but let's just make sure the engine runs first. And then we'll get into the transmission. I mean, I know it works, don't get me wrong, but maybe the needs to be flushed, or whatever needs to be done. So that's done. this is done. Hopefully it doesn't leak. We will find out. I will put this down, get it ready, and bring you guys back. Okay, so here we are. Everything's pretty much ready. Something I do want to do is get a screwdriver ready just in case. This is the kill. It grounds out the plug. I want to make sure that that's not just hitting the insulation. Looks like it is. So let's bend this up a little bit more. There we go, now it's touching it. Otherwise you won't be able to turn it off. Some of them have a kill wire. This one does not. Okay, so let's give it some go juice. Give it a good pulling. See what happens. Ooh, it is in gear. That was unfortunate. Okay, belt is loose. I don't know where it is now. There we go. Maybe we need to pull up a little bit on the throttle. If not, we're going to check it for spark, but it should have spark. Maybe this is pretty enough. Well, so far so good. Give it a little bit more. Yeah, it's leaking out of the choke again. That's to be expected. A little bit more. Let's see if it will start by itself. Let's wipe up some of this nonsense though. Last thing we need is a fire. Oh, there we go. No more of that. Yeah, should be enough for enough. Try it a few more times. What? Yeah, it's starting to leak again. The good news is the diaphragm seems to be not leaking anymore. Put a little bit more fuel in there. That should be enough. Another thing it could be, maybe this wasn't out of tune. Let's put it in all the way. So that's half, that's one half. See if that helps at all. This one is being a little aggravating. Let's move this back a little bit. At least the muffler works. Let's all the way back. See if that changes anything. Do we have a fuel delivery problem? Or do we have a tuning problem? Push this all the way in. Okay, well, as much as I don't want to have to do it, I might have to take off the carb. They look clean. It's all blown out. You know what, let's put a little bit of fuel in there. Probably like right about there. So now we're definitely leaking out of here. Well, no, not really. Or are we? Let's wipe it all up. And we will just go directly to the source. Let's not put that there. Something we could also, do is put the air filter on. Sometimes they're picky on that one. I doubt it, but there we are. Now let's put that in there. just going to finger tight it right now. Doesn't want to start even more. Why? Probably because it's wet. Okay, that looks pretty clean. So put that on and see if there's anything left in there. If not, we'll spray a little more. Nah, I would assume so. Yeah, we're dry. Okay, good. I kind of messed up on the first time too. You're supposed to spray towards the center of the motor. Okay, let's give it a try again. Still nothing. That. If this doesn't work, we're just going to take the carburetor off and probably put in an ultrasonic cleaner. Just to seem like it was very dirty. That's all yeah, that's what we're going to have to do. I'll put it back up and be right back. So, I have the exhaust on. I think it's ready to go. It's out of gear, so it should be moving when I pull it. I did pour a little bit of fuel in the chamber, so hopefully I won't have to spray anything in there. I was thinking I was going to have to, but just in case, I do have a backup plan here. I still might. I mean, I don't really feel like pulling on it forever if it doesn't start the first couple. So, go ahead and pull on the choke and give it a yank. Throttle's about half. Oh, and the gas is full to about half a tank. Maybe a little under, maybe more, a third. Oh, promising. A little more promising. That could easily just be a tuning problem right there. I did 1.5. Let's do like 1.25. It looked a little. Oh, the fuel I put in there was 2-cycle fuel in the cavity and normal fuel in the tank, so it might be a little smoky. That could also be what's happening right now. Did not. Okay. Maybe, but no choke. Okay, probably wasn't enough fuel. I don't feel like pulling on it much more. Probably just enough to get the started for a little bit. Actually, that looked wet. Maybe it's flooded. Let's put it in only one. Put it back. Let's pull it a little bit. Cylinder looks fine. Let's pull it a couple times without the choke on. See what happens. Let's try to lift the choke on. let us pull the pants up. Get the plug again. Still dry. That's good. Put a little something in there. Whoops. That doesn't help. These 5 horsepower engines are either the most greatest thing in the world or the biggest pain. Let's see which one this is. So far it's kind of looking the other way. Let's undo it a little bit. When I got it, it was 1.5 out. So I kind of want to leave it at 1.5. It's a pretty good safe starting point. Still dry. Put a little more in there. Get a yank. Let's try to choke and see what happens. Is there enough spark? It's going. Oh, got myself, touched it. Plenty of spark. Still good. Let's do a full throttle. And let's stop messing with the spark plug and just put it directly down the carburetor throat. Doesn't want to take the fuel. Why is it not wanting to take the fuel? Okay, so carburetor's been completely cleaned, disassembled. So assuming that it's still good, it should be good to go. Now this is all the way in. It's half, 1.5. One of the things I noticed was when I was blowing through the carburetor, there's a little bit of air escaping from where the pickup tube is. So I'm thinking that could have been part of the problem. So I tightened it up and it appears to be stopped. So try it again. That's to be expected though. 2 or 3 of these is probably going to be needed. Of course, goes into one area, shouldn't. Just gonna keep that right there. Same nonsense. Let's just do that one. See if it makes any difference. I doubt it though. I think the carburetor's just trash. Yep, carburetor is toast. The pickup lines are not picking up fuel for whatever reason. Probably just either too plugged. Okay, so after realizing that that little port, well, how it anchors, is substantially different. Well, it matches that one, but is very much so different than that one. I'm not even sure where the other hole came from. That new carb is not going to fit there, which is a bummer. So, I came back to this one. Now, I took off the pickup tube. Just going to clean that up, reseal it, insert it. I also noticed that the choke kind of seemed like it was not seating properly. So I looked into that too, just to figure it out. And what I noticed was this piece is in the center to help kind of swirl it. I've taken these out for performance purposes before. So I'm just going to take it out, and I noticed that on the other side, which corresponds with the pump, it was like this. So the line of it was actually touching it. So maybe it wasn't able to get a good enough like to really go through, because how it ends up working, this is the old one, is you see there's a little indent right there, kind of. I'll take my word for it. There's an indent. That corresponds with a port on the cover, and then this one actually blocks off the little port that is right there. All those are clean. That's just discoloration. I actually took it on the wire wheel and got it pretty clean. So between resealing this, putting that on, taking that out, and I'm going to take off the new tank, put the old one on, see if we can't get it running. If not, then I'll probably just have to put a new motor on this. This might turn into a go-kart motor, just have to have a new custom intake, not really sure. But I'm going to go ahead and get that done. I have some gasoline safe RTV I'm going to put on here to help seal it very little. You don't want to plug it. Okay, be right back. Okay, so hopefully for the last attempt, then I can do this again. So, resealed everything, put the new gasket on, cleaned it very well, ultrasonic cleaner, the carb. Let's see what the screw is set at. Let's do 1.5. That's set at 1.5. I didn't put anything in the tank except for what's in the tank, not the little reservoir. So I'm just going to start it with this. And the choke is not on. Let's get rid of it yank and see what happens. Maybe not enough. Popped a little bit. Still kind of annoying. Still nothing. And then a lot of it is coming out. That's to be expected. Should have gone by now. This is just not going to work, unfortunately. Carburetor's too far gone. Can't fix it. So we either have to... The bad part is this is a motor that's very specific towards this because this post isn't usually there. Everything is very clean. Plenty of fuel. New fuel, of all things. You know what? Let's just do this. Let's just do like 2.5 turns. Let's just say 2 turns. Give it a couple pulls, see what happens. If it works, it works. Awesome. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It goes in the parts bin. That helps if it actually stays on stroke. Last and final attempt. Just going to spray a little bit more in there. See what happens. Nope. Not pumping. Well, it's discouraging. Carburetor is just too far gone, which is very odd. You know what? With full throttle. See what happens then. Let's try it on its own power first. Still nothing. We could pull on that all day, and it probably won't matter. Just for the fun of it, one more time. Nope. Guarantee if we take that off, which I'm not going to, that little cavity's bone dry. It's just too far gone. The little pump is not there. Spring is there. Spring is good. Brand new spring, brand new diaphragm. Everything's been cleaned thoroughly. I took out the pickup tubes, all those are good. The jet itself is fine. So, looks like this is a parts machine. I'm going to take a look out for new carburetors. I might have one over there. Don't know yet. But we'll take a look and we'll see, and then I will bring everyone back and see what happens. Definitely like and subscribe to the video. Like and subscribe, and I will see everyone later, and definitely leave a comment. Bye. Okay, so as much as I don't want to do this, going to go and do it. This is the reason why. This is obviously a repainted engine. Got this from a group of engines. Didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with it, but it's a Briggs 5-horse. And I was looking at it. It's just a little bit different. The choke mechanism is like that rather than the pull out, so it's a little bit newer. But most importantly, it's the same mounting on both the engine and the tank, and the tank appears to be the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one off, replace the diaphragm in there because I'm sure that's probably bad, and put this carburetor on this engine. And then I will bring you guys back once it's done. It's the exact same thing. 3 screws, 2 screws there, take it off, put it back on, call it good. The only thing that's different is this is a tad bit newer. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll bring you guys back. Okay, yet again here. New carb, new kit, been cleaned, been blown out. Everything is good to go on it. Everything's been attached. Half throttle. I'm still going to use the cleaner because the little reservoir is empty and wasn't filling up. That's what we thought of the other carburetor. So let's give it a pull. Okay, back to this. Oh, there it is. Carburetor is open. It might be a little smoky. It looks a little oily. That one was to be expected. Getting a little intense. Somewhere I was definitely a lot longer. Okay, well, let's put the air filter cover on. Oh, I need the screw, the different lengths. Apparently that's a different size too. So let's use the whole air filter cover. We'll put the new air filter, that's another one, and this one now. There we are. Okay, so let's see if we have any leakage. Looks like it's good. Now back. Let's try to choke. See if it'll start by itself. Let's also grab a screwdriver. Maybe it'll tune it a little more. what that noise was. The clutch. It needs to be taken off and cleaned. It was kind of gathering on there. So that's what that loud screech noise was. Fortunately, you can't really go around that except cutting it, or not cutting it, but cleaning it. But it runs, so it was a carburetor. So I'm going to go ahead and get the clutch cleaned. I'll probably bring you guys back for that, so let me go ahead and take that off. Actually, no, I think I'm just going to leave that for a different video. You guys can watch it at a different time. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get that completed. Get this on its way, and I'll see everyone later. Thanks for watching, and definitely subscribe. And thank you again. Bye.